to momentarily, this should show up. So we will be there, and we are on right now. Hi, everybody. This is Glenda Carroll, and welcome to Facebook Saturday Live. This is a presentation of the Mystery Writers of America, the Northern California chapter. And this is starting our second season. So Happy New Year, and congratulations to us for putting on this for so long. We've got a great event today, I think. Okay, think about this. It's all about book promotion. You've written your book, right? It's done. You're thrilled. You've published your book. You're thrilled. Now what? You have as much work to do, I hate to tell you, now as you had when you were writing your book, only a different kind of work. So we've got authors today who are going to talk about some really good, give you some really good ideas about book promotion. They are award-winning mystery writers, Lisa Towles and Michelle Chouinard. And you can ask questions. You can put them in the Facebook comment section just there, and I'll ask them these questions. And, so don't hesitate to do that. So I am going to right now pass this off to Lisa, and off you go. This is all yours now.
Okay. Thank you, Glenda. Hello, everyone. And hello to my good friend, Michelle. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Me too.
All right. So yeah, we're talking today about post-publication promotion. And this is very timely because my book 95 just came out last November. Glenda's book Dead Code just came out in October. Michelle, your next book is coming out in April. So this is all very timely for all of us. So we're going to address a couple of myths. I think the first myth Glenda already mentioned. Your book is published and you've done all this work leading up to it, and it's actually out and released now. So you're done now, right? You can just sit back and wait for all those reviews to come in, and there's nothing you need to do. That's not really true. But the second myth is that I think a lot of people feel like book promotion, whether it's pre or post, is hard because we're writing. We don't have time for promotion, or some of us have day jobs. We don't have time to devote to it. And also kind of a trepidation about knowing enough about digital marketing strategies and technologies to actually do it effectively. Neither of those are true. It's not hard. It doesn't take a long time, but you're not really done because there are a few things that you really should do. So in the post-publication promotion phase, you're really just extending what you did pre-publish. So you're extending your pre-publication engagement. You've already built up your following, you've made yourself and your book visible, and you've gotten readers excited about it. Now the book is out. It's something tangible that they can buy and touch and actually read and review and comment on it. And so now you're going to be amplifying all that. And we're going to show you how to do that today. Michelle and I have come up with a very short list of easy things that you can do, easy things that you can do, and things that you should be doing, and then one kind of final step. Michelle, anything you want to add here before we get started?
No, I think you said it very well. Okay.
All right, cool. Let's jump into the first part of our presentation. These are the should do's. So if we go to the next slide, there are a few things here that we're going to talk about that they're not must do's, but once your book is out, they're really important steps to keep everything updated, just to make sure that when a reader or a potential reader goes to read about you anywhere in the online landscape, whether it's on your website or on social media, they're going to be seeing the same thing. What are they going to be seeing? That your book is out, and here's where to buy it.
So
okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is my, if you go to my website, this is what my website is always going to have my most recent book. This is actually going to probably change next week because my my next book is going up for pre-order. So I will as soon as it goes up for pre-order, I will be putting that cover up and that, pre-order now button, so that when you go to my page, that is the very first thing that you see. And the reason I think that this is so important to keep this stuff updated is because this stuff is selling for you while you're doing other stuff, while you're sleeping, while you're making your dinner, while you're doing your day job. People who are interested in you, they're going to see all of these things, and it's going to encourage them to buy your book. So why not have stuff working for you?
Exactly. Okay, so after you update your website that your book is out and a buy link of where to buy it, the next thing that you can do, the next thing that you should do is to update your social media banners and your profile texts. Michelle, do you want to talk through this one? I love all the call outs that you put here. Those are great.
Yes. So I wanted to say, I've got, so on all of my social media accounts, I have a banner like this. I think this is a great banner. It shows the book. It shows one place at least that where you can buy it. And it gives a brief little, description of what is going on, where you can get more information, but yet it's not visually cluttered. So boom, it's all right there, very effective. Also, you want to make sure that your description down here is up to date. I love how you've got that latest book right there. So you're just really getting it into people's minds, what your most recent thing is. I also, on any social media where you can, go ahead and pin a post. This is my Facebook page right here. So I've got a banner like that one, but then we've got a pinned post. And this says, hey, here's my newest book. Here's where you can buy it. I've got a whole bunch of buy links. And then Lisa taught me how to make a book trailer. So I have my book trailer attached because Lisa has all kinds of information about why book trailers are effective. And that is actually on the Facebook Live page. You can go watch that replay when you're done this if you want to. And I encourage you to do it.
Michelle, can you talk about what's important about a pinned post and what it means if a post is pinned?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so a pinned post is a post that is going to be the first post that people see. So no matter how many other things you post in your feed, it's going to always be at the top. So that means that when people come to your Twitter account or your Facebook account, this is going to be, they essentially have to scroll past your buy now information in order to get to the other things that you're seeing. So you're always making that information really easily available to anybody who's checking you out on your social media accounts.
I love it. And I think this is related to something that you and I were talking about last night when we were talking about this this content. The word thumping came up, and I want to talk about that because I think it's important. What you just said about a pinned post, people are, like if they want to see what your activity is on Twitter, they're automatically, if this post is pinned, they're going to have to see the name of your book and where it's located and how to buy it. And that's kind of passive marketing. You're not explicitly saying, please, my book is out, please go and buy it, please go and review it. You don't want to do like kind of obvious thumping like that. You want to do something that's a little bit more passive, but still making a lot of references to it and keeping it visible, right?
Yes, exactly. And actually, that's what the experts tell you is that if all you're doing is shoving buy into people's face, that's just going to turn them off. What you want to do is engage with them in a way that's more organic and shows who you are. But then in the meantime, it's always there if they're interested. And
I have a question about the pinned post.
Yes.
Two things. One, George Kramer asked, how do you make a pinned post? And when you're talking about Facebook, it says page or group. So are you putting it on a Facebook page or a Facebook group? I'm assuming is a question.
This is my Facebook page. I think you can do the same thing in groups. So what you do, so right now what you would do is like double click like that, and then a menu is going to come up when you're actually on the post that you want to pin. And one of the options should be pin post. And then you would just select that. And if you have another post that's already pinned, it'll say, this is going to replace your other one. Are you sure you want to do it? And then you say yes. Same thing with Twitter. You have a post and I believe you just double click on it. There you go. Lisa can show you.
Yeah, so on Twitter, you just click the three dots in the right corner of that tweet and it gives you the option to delete the tweet or you can pin it. And if you already have something pinned, by pinning something new, that new tweet will be pinned all the time, but you can switch it up all the time. I mean, if if you have news that that you've posted and you want that to be what you pinned, it doesn't only have to be your new book, but having a new book that's out and available with the buy link on it, that's a great thing to pin. So it's super easy to do.
Yes.
Great question.
Does that help? Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Glenda. You want to go to the next slide?
All righty.
Okay, updating Amazon, Goodreads, and BookBub. So your Amazon, Michelle, I assume that we're talking, let's assume that we're talking here about your Amazon Author Central page.
Yes,
So
correct.
that's where you have all the content about your bio and your synopsis and what readers are going to see when they click on you as an author on Amazon.
Yes.
And then on Goodreads, you can update your profile on Goodreads. And then also, I think we're going to be talking today about interaction with readers on Goodreads in terms of questions. We'll talk about that later. Michelle, do you want to talk about BookBub? I think you have more
Yeah.
experience with that
I
than
think
do.
a lot of authors forget about BookBub. I know when I was a new author, I didn't even think about it. But if you don't have a profile on BookBub, go and make one. It's really fast and super easy to do. And then just make sure you have it updated. One of the cool things about BookBub, as we're transitioning into interacting with readers, is you can post reviews of books or recommendations of books that you like, and that will go into people's feeds that are following you, and it'll help you get noticed and create this community with readers that you're trying to build in an organic way, not just buy my book, buy my book.
Cool. All right, I think we have one more of the should do's. The next one is interacting with readers. And I love this slide because I think a lot of people don't realize that that you can actually interact with your readers on Goodreads. They can post questions for you, and not only can you answer them, but you should answer them. And I think it's a good idea to get in the habit of going to Goodreads regularly to see if anyone's posted any questions. I realized that someone had posted a question about my last book that was published, and I answered their question like a year later, and I don't think that's really the right way to do it. I think going there regularly, even if it's just once a month, to answer questions, that person who logged the question is probably going to get a notification that you answered them, and they're going to think, oh, cool, wow, an author actually answered my question.
Yes. And okay, so very quickly, if you just go to your author page on Goodreads and scroll down, that's where you're going to find this. Just scroll down and you'll find this part right here that says allow Goodreads members to ask you questions. Just turn that on. I had the same exact thing happen. I had somebody ask me a question. I didn't even notice it. So check in, once a month. But also there's this list of pre-existing questions. And if you answer them, they will generate more. And this is great because every time you answer a question, it's going to go into your followers' feeds. It's going to go into, whatever general feeds they feel like putting it into. And that's going to get people possibly noticing you and possibly interested in your book, again, without being like, buy my book, buy my book. And then we're also going to have another use for these questions later as we move on.
Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this is the part of our presentation that are the optional steps, things that you can do just to kind of beef up your visibility to the following and to your readership. Michelle, do you want to talk about this one?
Yes. Okay. So it's very good advice to not interact with reviewers, like to not engage. But what that mostly means is if someone leaves a negative review or whatever, you just don't want to touch that. Mm-hmm. But it is okay to do things like on Goodreads Go. If somebody leaves you a 5-star review like this one, you can hit like here, like I did. That's okay. It's also okay to leave a comment saying, thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. What that does again is it puts it into your activity feed. So people who are following you see that and they'll say, oh, she's got a new book. Oh, somebody really liked it. And it will put that into their feed. And then if that person responds to you, it now puts it into their feed. So their followers see it. So you're basically extending your reach with these little threads without really having to. So it's okay to do this. You just don't want to engage like more controversially than that. I want to make sure to put that there. Mm-hmm. Anything you wanted to add to that?
Just that I think the Goodreads questions and answers is such a wonderful way to build community engagement. It's easy to build community engagement if you actively post something on Facebook and someone answers it with a comment and you reply to their comment. That's an obvious way to do it. This is a little bit of a less obvious way, but it really makes it seem like you're three-dimensional. You're more than just a name on a book cover. You're like a living, breathing person, that cares about the readers that are reading their books. It shows what you appreciate, what you like about what they said, and it allows you to kind of become more real for them. So I love it.
I've got one more question from you
Yes.
about what you're talking about. This is from Ann Parker. So she says, if someone leaves a lukewarm review, it's okay to skip over it, i.e. not say thank you.
That is exactly what I would do. I would say, don't, obviously you're never going to want to, if it's bad, you just leave it. I would say the same thing. What's that expression? Accentuate the positive, ignore the negative in this case, and don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Great advice.
And I think that's really hard to do sometimes. It's always disappointing to get a lukewarm review. Whenever I see a lukewarm review, I always think, well, why bother leaving a review then? But, I've also gotten some negative reviews on Goodreads, which, geez, I can't stress how not fun those are. But I think, Michelle, you're absolutely right. Just don't even go there. Don't even mess with them, because there's really nothing you can do that can make that go away. And so just ignoring it and moving on is good. But I love the idea of, if someone leaves you a nice review, at least like it, and saying thank you. I mean, what bad thing ever came from saying thank you?
Exactly. And I don't want to get too much into this because, we have limited time, but it's been pointed out to me that negative reviews are actually not the worst thing in the world. First of all, they show people that there are real legitimate readers really legitimately reviewing this. Also, I had a review that was a 1-star review that said, I really hate how much time she spent in the killer's head. I don't like that. I don't like being in the killer's head. If that tells another reader who's going to not enjoy my book because I spend time in the killer's head, not to read this book, that's okay. I don't want somebody reading my book that's not going to like it. So good. It's good information. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah, so much to say about bad reviews.
Yes.
But okay. All right. Michelle,
you want me to just?
Yes. Keep going.
So I just wanted to point out here that on your Amazon page, your Amazon author page, you can publish author updates. You can also link it to your blog post. If you have a blog, you can link it into your blog post so that anytime you post a blog post, it will post here. And so then people that are following you on Amazon will get a notification. Michelle Chouinard just posted something. And the kinds of things that I post is, like you can see here, I post what I'm reading. I also did a post about the reading order of my books because I get asked that question a lot. So that again is just a nice, subtle way to build community with people who are interested in your work.
Great.
Okay.
All right. So I just love this picture, and I love the story behind this picture. So there are a lot of things that you can do to interact with your community in terms of bookstores and libraries. Michelle has a great story about how she engaged with a local bookstore. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes. So of course, I think we probably all know that we should be contacting our bookstores and our libraries and asking them to stock our books and asking them if we can do events there. That's not a surprise. I also did learn that my library has a mystery book club. So I thought, okay, well, maybe they might want me to come and talk, or maybe I should suggest my book there. But the general principle that I think is important here is that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, gee, how can I help Michelle sell books today? That's not what's on their mind. My librarians are thinking about all the things that they have to do at their library. My booksellers are thinking all about, what they need to do to keep their business successful. So I personally believe that one of the most effective ways to approach these people, anybody that you want to work with, is to think about what value you can bring to them. What is there something you can do to help them? So one of the things that one of my local independent bookstores do is they do a story time for kids. And as we were transitioning out of COVID, I guess the first time, they were looking for people to come and read to the kids outside. And they asked if I'd be willing to do that. I'm not a children's book writer. As a matter of fact, children should not be allowed anywhere near the books that I write. Thank you very much. but at the same time, I'm a big believer that reading is important for kids. And I'm also a big believer in supporting my indie bookstores. So I said, absolutely, of course I will do that. And so I think if you are bringing that to your interactions with people, they're going to sense that you are genuinely interested in building community and not just trying to sell your books. So
Love
the
it.
other thing I think we really want to say here is be creative about these potentials. And Lisa, I'm going to let you talk about that part.
Well, what I was going to say is I love the idea of how you wrote join forces. You know, I mean, like you and I have done a couple of events together, and I think joining forces with other authors is just a great way to kind of maximize your presence in the community and encourage that for another author. Michelle and I did a couple book signings at Twining Vine Winery in Castro Valley, and it just makes it all the more fun to be doing that with an author.
And that was such an imaginative idea. I never in a million years would have thought about doing a book event at a winery. But it is so great because, first of all, when people are drinking, they're more likely to buy things. That's just a fact.
And they're happy. Yeah.
But again, like you were able to go to this winery and say, here's something I can potentially do for you. If I do an event here, I'm going to be bringing in a lot of people to look at my books, a lot of my friends who drink wine. And I bet you they're going to want to taste your wine. So now it's not just what can you do for me, it's but what can we do for each other? And that was just some great thinking for a possible event, especially when, let's face it, events are more limited right now. And we do end up having to be more looking for outdoor kinds of things like a
exactly. Yep, yeah. Exactly. That was part of the thinking there is that less bookstores are having in-person events, but people are still going to wineries. But yeah, I'm still working with bookstores. And I love how you have that strong alliance with your local bookstore in Hayward.
Yes. Should I just go ahead? Or do you want to take it?
Yeah, no, go ahead and talk about book club kits. I love this. I love this. Yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of an outgrowth of, you were probably already making promotional materials before, right? Before your book came out, you probably made an author kit. You probably came up with a press release. But even if you didn't, that's okay. But what you can do is create stuff for your readers. Again, you're creating value for other people, right? So Tori Elridge, I have her website page up here because she is brilliant at this. She does book club kits for each of her releases. And you can go to her site. I encourage you to do it and click on her book club links and see what she does. She, because she's got this ninja theme, she has stuff about martial arts. She has just all kinds of cool things in addition to, reader discussion topics and reader questions. If you are not as like savvy at putting together awesome materials, like I'm not, this is what my website looks like. I just have buttons that show here, you can get the Dancing Girls Q&A, a Q&A that I did. You can here's a deleted scene. Here's some book club questions. And you can see my reading group guide here. This is just a PDF. It's a Word document I turned into a PDF that they can download. So you don't have to be very tech savvy. If you can put together a document, you can get something up there that it is going to be useful for your reader. And of course, when you do this, you're going to post about it on all your whatever your social media, if you have it, your blog, if you have it. You're going to let people know that it's there. And again, you're raising awareness about your book without saying, buy my book. So,
and the natural extension of this is that if a book club, if a book club and their members each buy a copy of your book, they're going to use these questions to talk about in their discussion. And one of the things that you can do is you can arrange with them to join them for that discussion, either in person or on Zoom. And Michelle, I think you did one of those. Can you tell us about that?
I've done several and I love it. And I think that if you've got reader group guide stuff up on your website and you're posting about it, it allows book clubs to feel more comfortable approaching you going, I don't suppose you would want to come and talk to my group. And I'm like, yes, actually, I really would, because all of our book events are so limited now with COVID. And what better way for me to be able to talk to several people that are interested in my book? Absolutely. Sign me up for that.
I gave a 25% discount to a book club that wanted to buy copies of my books. And that just helps me, you know, I mean, it helps me
Great
get in touch
idea.
with actual real readers. And I can hear, why did you do this with this plot? And how did you get the idea for this specific ending? And yeah, love it.
Absolutely. All right. Do you want to?
Okay, so yeah, I think this is a great slide because it shows examples of how you actually structure a post. I think a lot of people think, oh, social media, I don't know what to write. And I don't know, like, kind of the tone and the vibe and like which hashtags do I use and how do I do that? So this is a perfect example of a review that Michelle got on Goodreads, and she literally copied and pasted it into an actual, did you do this on Twitter, Michelle? This is a tweet, right?
I didn't even copy and paste it. I screenshotted it, trimmed it down, and just attached it as a picture, and then put, you know, so super easy, because, you know, none of us, I think a lot of us don't necessarily aren't the best at going, this is a great book. But when someone else says it's a great book, sure, I can put that up and say, thank you so much for thinking that this is a great book. This is a tweet, but you can do the same thing if you have a Facebook page, Instagram. Notice that because I screenshotted it, I could put this up as a picture on Instagram. I could even create like a TikTok if I wanted to put this up and just have the text over it with a little bit of pretty music behind it. So it's a super easy way. And even out of just one review, I could get, you know, I can get posts for all of my social media. And then it again gets the word out there, like, oh, I've got a book, somebody liked it, without going, buy my book, buy it now. So yeah.
There is one question here about Instagram, and this is from Lori King. She says, let's see where it is. I'd be interested to know if you have any suggestions specific to Instagram, both posts and when it comes to responding to hashtags and comments.
Okay, that's sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a great question, and I think there are a lot of variables to how to maximize what you're doing on Instagram. I went to a webinar the other day that was just on this topic, and I learned kind of I came away with kind of a nice, neat list, and there are definitely some things you can do. I don't have that list in front of me right now, but one of the things that I was going to comment on related to this is look at what Michelle wrote in this in the directly to tweet. There are a couple of important elements here, and these were covered on the Instagram webinar, even though we're talking about Twitter here. You're saying, hey, check out this awesome review for the vacation. So you thanked the reviewer, the thank you, that's super important. You have some emojis in there, which shows emotion and excitement and appreciation. You have a hashtag for Joe Fournier. So that's just good branding. I mean, branding's kind of a separate conversation, but Joe Fournier is your main character, and that's a very close association with you as the author. So you've hashtagged Joe Fournier. You've hashtagged your genre, crime fiction, and mystery readers. So you're attracting readers. So it's a very short tweet, but it's very strategic because, like, you're ticking all the boxes, all the elements are there.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think actually, I don't know, I'm sure Glenda has plenty of things to do, but I would love to see a webinar like on branding, or one specifically on like Instagram or Twitter at some point, and get more information about that.
We'll consider it.
Okay. All right. And thank you for your question, Lauren.
Yes, thank you.
I think we have just a couple left.
Yes.
All right, so, Michelle, this is yours because this is about Twitter. This is about TikTok.
Okay, so before I told you back when with these Goodreads questions, right, that we were going to come back to those. So one of the ways, if you don't know what to do on social media and you're looking for content, is to answer reader questions. Maybe you don't have any readers asking you questions yet. So that's where you go ahead and take a look at these, or use some questions that are, you know, that people always get asked. So like, what was your inspiration for this book? Where do you get your ideas from? Go ahead and steal those, and you can put them, like, here's a tweet that I did where I was just like, I get asked a lot about my inspiration for writing the vacation. Part of it was wanting to visit this gorgeous waterfall in Jamaica. And then I put up this visual. Notice I could do this on Instagram. I could very easily do that. I could, again, put a couple of pictures of things in Jamaica that I really loved and make a little TikTok just showing those with some nice music and a couple of text things saying, I loved this place, I love this place. And that, and this is going to show people about your book without, you know, telling them about your book, right? The same thing with TikTok. I'll make brief little videos. And I know a lot of people don't like to have their face on camera. I honestly really don't either. I'm just trying to get over that fear. So you could put up pictures of your cats. And as you just in text, answer the question or narrate over it. Everybody loves looking at cats. So there you can put up pictures of all kinds of different things, even if you don't necessarily want to have your face in there.
That's right. One of the workarounds that I do on TikTok is you can make a video from 2 or 3 still photographs, and you can add text to it. And you always want to add music to it, because music is one of the main reasons why people go to TikTok. So music's super important. And then, like Michelle said, in the text, you just have like 1 or 2 lines and a couple of hashtags. TikTok is one of the platforms like Instagram where hashtags are really, really important. So you don't necessarily have to have a video of you talking about your book. You can use still photographs of your book cover or a graphic about an event that's coming up. So there are lots of ways to do it, and it's not that hard. But I would recommend following Michelle on TikTok because she's got some wonderful videos that really extend her brand and connect with her readership about her topic. So Michelle, do you want? I think we have your TikTok account on the last slide, right?
Well, I'm not sure if we have the account, but on the next page, I show another one of my sort of more branded videos because I do police procedurals. And police procedurals often involve serial killers. I have a little fun fact series that I do where I give, I deal with things like how cops can get fingerprints off of dead bodies by using, you know, super glue. And I did one about cadaver dogs. And because so these are things I was researching for my book. So I'm learning this stuff anyway. Why not make a quick little video and share that information with someone else? And this one I did a 2-part series about serial killer myths. So people think that, oh, serial killers are always men. No, it turns out females are actually overrepresented in serial killing. So little things like that hopefully will interest people that are interested in my sorts of books. So if you are writing books that are set in a bakery, maybe you want to do, you know, little videos that share recipes, or so just think a little bit about content that's related to your book, or even if it's just your personal interest. If you are very, very interested in baking, even if that has nothing to do with your book, go ahead and write it. I put one of your pictures up here, Lisa, because on your Instagram page, I love the images that you have. You've got a lot of serene, peaceful images because self-care is so important to you. And promoting self-care, and not just writers, but I'm sure everybody, is so important to you. And I'm sure that you're building up a following of people who love your tips and your reminders to take a moment today and breathe. Take a moment today and take care of yourself. So it doesn't necessarily have to relate directly to your book. But again, sorry, go ahead.
No, right. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily need to. Like you are also into baking. You did a lot of wonderful baking over the holidays, and you wrapped that into your brand as a crime novelist. You know, you had cookies in the shape of like chalk body outlines and things like that. I'm interested as well as in writing in self-care and also in cats. So if you go to my Instagram or TikTok, you'll see books, self-care, and cats. And you know, that just gives people an understanding of what they can expect if they follow me.
And people, I mean, just think about your favorite author when you were growing up, and think about how much you would have loved to see what they're doing this weekend or hear about their hobbies. And, you know, so that kind of connection is what people really crave more than just, you know, here's my new book. And one last thing, just because I love it, Gail Carriger, she's not crime fiction, but she does like steampunk and that kind of stuff. She loves hedgehogs, and that has become such a part of her brand now that people send her like little articles and things about hedgehogs, and she retweets them, and it's like this self-perpetuating self-motion machine with her social media now. So awesome. Grab onto it. Okay.
All right, so some other things that you can do. Michelle talked a little bit about creating an author media kit, like a digital media kit. Normally you would do that before your book is published. Once your book is published, you can you can contact the press and other influencers. Some things that you can do are taking your author media kit and sending it to some local newspapers, online newspapers in the town that you live in, the East Bay Times. For me, I live in Oakland, or sending it to a newspaper in Hingham, Massachusetts, a tiny little New England town where I grew up, and also sending it to newspapers in Chicago. That's where my book takes place, just to get that kind of regional connection too. Those are some things you can do, and really create that value. Michelle, anything you want to add here?
Yes, one of the things I want to hit that point about creating value again, because I recently was in a different webinar, and I can't remember for the life of me who said this, but somebody mentioned that as a reminder that, newspapers, or, not necessarily newspapers, but like websites, whatever news outlet, they are looking for content. So they may not have time or a place to put a book review of your book right now, but they might need, some sort of true crime thing, or maybe they need a little piece about publishing industry. We're all writers, we can write. So if we decide we wanted to write a quick little piece about serial killer myths and give them something to publish, now you've created value for them. Even if they don't remember that in the future, you just got your name and a little thing saying you're a mystery writer in that news outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So if they aren't able to review you, maybe there's something else that you can do with them that will create value for them, ease their job, and also get your name out there.
Yep, love it.
Okay.
Glenda, how are we doing on time? Is it okay if we go through one or two more slides?
Yeah, we are about 35 minutes into this, so we certainly want to wrap it up within the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
I can just quickly say, I personally, with giveaways, I've done a couple, I think they're great. I would suggest, if you're going to do something like a giveaway, join in with other authors, have, so you're getting you're casting a broader net.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how effective they are, but I know some authors use them very effectively. So I just wanted to put that there, and then we can just go on ahead and hit this must do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the last must do is not forgetting what you've accomplished. So I think it's easy for us to just kind of like gloss over getting a book released, because so much leads up to it. And once you're at the actual day, you're like, oh, all right, fine, now on to the next book. And I think as a way of taking care of yourself and taking care of your creative heart and taking care of your body and your mind, I think it's important to not only celebrate your win and celebrate, really like the gravity of what you've done. You've written a book, you've connected with a publisher, or you've published it yourself, and you've done all of the marketing and steps to get out there. But also celebrating that and kind of caring for yourself by taking a little bit of time off, buying yourself a gift, putting something on your refrigerator that just kind of like shows that you're your own cheerleader. And I love the seeking support from your tribe, from your community. All of those things are what keep us going. And I honestly think that you really can't realistically expect your readership in the world to appreciate you as an author if you don't appreciate yourself and really give yourself that kind of love and care and gratitude, and promoting yourself as really having done something serious. You did something serious. Your book is out there now, and it's going to be out there forever, and it's awesome. So for all of you who have just published a book, congratulations. We applaud you, and please take some time to take care of yourselves. And I think that's it for what we had prepared today. Do we want to see if there are any other questions, Glenda?
At this point, we've answered the questions, or the questions that have come in during your presentation.
Okay.
So they're I'm thinking of myself. How do you actually walk into a bookstore? I mean, do you have a script in your mind saying of what you want to say? Because this is not easy for me to say, hi, I've got this brand new book. I'm a local author. I'm expecting them to say, so what? I'm just wondering how you prepare yourself.
And I think that can happen, and that's definitely happened to me. Michelle, you've had some good luck walking into bookstores, and I know that there are a couple of local bookstores that you know very well. For bookstores where I don't know them, one tactic that I've done is I would email them first before I went in. And another tactic is I didn't ask them for anything specifically. I did it as, hi, so-and-so, I understand you're in charge of local authors or events or whatever. I'm this person, this is my book. If you in the store would be interested in stocking a few copies, I would be happy to come by and sign them for you. And if you're hosting events right now, I would be delighted to join you. Here's where you can contact me. So I'm not necessarily saying, will you host an event? Will you buy my book? I'm just saying, here's a book that's out. These are some of the reviews. It won this award, if it's won any awards. And if you want to get in on the fun and capitalize on the success of this book and bring it to your readership, here's how to reach me. That's just one tactic. Michelle, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I would also add to that, do research on the place that you want to go. So a lot of bookstores, especially if they're indie bookstores, will have newsletters. You'll be able to see the kinds of things that they do, the kinds of events that they put on. If they don't ever do author events, you're probably not going to have a lot of luck asking them if you can do an author event there. But if they have a mystery club, or if, whatever it is that they do, just think strategically about how you can fit into that. Like another thing that I've done with my favorite bookstore is I asked her, I said, would you like to be the person who handles my signed copies? Because that basically means anytime somebody comes to me and wants a signed copy of my book, now she's the one that's going to make the profit off of that. And I would want her to make that, make that profit off of it versus, wherever else, or having to, to do it myself. I can now give her value again, and we're supporting each other. So I would say just, try to think about those things as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And this has been really fascinating. There's a number of comments that when you go back to look at this, you'll be able to see saying, I'm already taking notes. We've got people from all over California, and there's somebody here from Hawaii also who's, listening and watching. To all of you that are out there, as soon as this video is over, it takes about maybe a minute, and then it shows up on the Facebook page of MWA NorCal under videos. So it'll be there. And you had mentioned something about the PowerPoint. Did you want me to use this as a PDF?
So there's both the slides, there is a PDF. If you
Right.
want to go ahead and make that available to people, that's cool. I guess they
Okay.
probably can just rewatch this as well if they want to see it,
Okay.
but whatever's easiest. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put the PDF up. And if you think of questions that you didn't have time to ask Lisa or Michelle, you can still put it in the comment section, because they'll go back and review it and they'll answer it for you.
Yes, I will. And I won't wait a year to do it. I'll do it.
So I just want to thank you all for coming, and Michelle and Lisa, this was great. It really was. Thank you very much. And then we will see all of you viewers next month in February. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Glenda. Thank you all.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye-bye.